Welcome back to your favorite podcast, your favorite day of the week, where we like to get childish as grown-ups. The Childish Grownups Show. Y'all know me, I am the world-class Maurice Hunter III, a.k.a. Mochaccino, keeping things mixed, brewed, and black. But I'm not alone. I am here with one of my co-hosts, Mia B. And we are missing, unfortunately, Ash Bash on this episode, but we will still give y'all a wonderful episode. Mia, how you feeling?
I feel good. Missing my girl, you know. It's just a lot of testosterone energy today because my girl isn't here, but we gonna make it work though.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen. I had to tough through that on Bring It On, you know what I'm saying? Like and we had a third, woman host. So, you know what I'm saying? It's fairly balanced, but I know what you mean. This movie definitely has a lot of that for sure. And so shout out to Ash, man. I know she truly wanted to be here, but sometimes life's and we are childish, but we also are grown-ups. So we got things to do sometimes. But she'll be back on the next episode, and I'm sure she'll listen to this and hear the reveal of my pick for our next rotation as well as film. Excited today. This is the Stoop Kid selection. This is our third one. We did it, what, January, February, March?
Third.
Third? Okay. Or maybe we even did it.
Because
we didn't do it in December. Okay. We didn't do it in December because there would have been somebody to pick the Christmas movie, I thought. So, yeah. So this is our third annual, I ain't going to say annual, but our third consistent Stoop Kid selection film. Y'all have voted and y'all chose this. We revealed it last week and we're going to get into it today. But before we get into that, we do have to acknowledge the Stoop Kids because somebody decided to write in. So I know it's been a few episodes where it's been a little quiet out there, everybody being in the house, but somebody decided to step out the house and ride their bike over to the crib and holler at us real quick. So let me just read that comment. And it is a YouTube comment from my guy, Chuck, Public Enemy B. He wrote 2 comments from our last episode, Hardball. One, he said, fantastic review. How you feel about that, Mia? That was your pick, your film, meant so much to you.
I love that because I really was like, oh, there's so much to cover on that movie. And I know there were a couple of things that we didn't really talk that much about, but love to hear anytime the people are satisfied with.
Absolutely. Yeah, shout out to that, man. I definitely appreciate that. And yeah, man, you never know where these reviews are going to go. Like there's no pre-recording or we do episodes multiple times and then put something out. Everything you get is authentic and organic, similar to our experience in the 90s and 2000s. He also doubled back and wrote in. He said, hey, Mo's moral of the story answer had me in tears. LOL. I went back and listened to it. I said, what did I say? I went back and listened. And my moral of the story, just for a recap for y'all that didn't remember, was stop bullshitting. Stop bullshitting. And y'all could get more elaborate on of a listen if y'all go back to our last episode. So, hey man, I stand on that. And that is our that's it for the Stoop Kids. Again, y'all can reach out to us. The childishgrownups3@gmail.com. Leave a YouTube comment. Most importantly, leave an Apple review. That would be great. Hey, you gotta holler at Mama C. We need that still. I'm looking for it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I was supposed to go and like help her figure it out because she showed me where she had one typed up. I don't know why she doesn't why it didn't post or how she was trying to do it, but we gonna get it figured out and we'll
Yeah.
get it.
It could be a login situation. She might have to have like an Apple account or it could be something like that. But nonetheless, we always appreciate her. We appreciate all you Stoop Kids for sure. With that being said, Ash is not here, but me and Mia are here. So she's the queen of childish grown-up moments, but we still gonna give our childish grown-up moments here. So Mia, you got one this week for us. What's life like?
I got a little bitty, teeny tiny little something. So my daughter is 8. She'll be 9 next month. Shout out to all of them Tauruses.
Ooh,
Yeah,
what y'all gonna do without us?
yeah, yeah. Okay. But anyway, she has been really into music from like the late 90s, early 2000s. So we had a little jam session in the car. I picked her up from school Friday of last week, which is rare. She usually goes to her grandma, but I picked her up. We had a little jam session, and her requests were Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera.
Mm,
She requested Wannabe by the Spice Girls.
okay.
And here is the proud mama moment, right? AT Aliens by Outkast is,
Whoa.
and so she will be back there going off. Okay. And
Whoa.
that was my little piece of my childhood sharing with my baby girl.
Hey, you raising the rights. You got the AT aliens in the mix. Hey, that's crazy. I was just riding to I was listening to that Aquemini. Like,
Yeah.
and funny thing is I think it was this morning. Speaking of jam session, it wasn't really jam session, but I was jamming. I was taking my daughter to her great grandfather's, and every time I never turn, that Cisco Incomplete came on.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And listen, it's dark outside. It's 6:30 in the morning. And listen, I am giving it everything. I am giving it everything because I'm like, bro, these lyrics are so good. Like, oh man. So that,
Oh,
yeah,
I also introduced her to when I had to introduce her, you know, to Hard Knock Life
of course.
by the GOAT,
Hello, who?
the GOAT,
Who is this?
Hove, Jay-Z.
I never heard of him.
You're dope. Hey, we just started, Mo. We just started, and
I,
we're not gonna go that route.
we got time. I got time today, cuz.
We're not gonna take that trajectory. Now, like I said, I introduced because she loves the movie Annie.
Okay.
So I had to introduce her to Hard Knock Live so she could see, baby, best of both worlds. We're marrying these things together. And she was feeling it.
Oh
So
yeah.
I put that in rotation.
Was she singing the hook? Was she got it? Was she starting to sing? It's a hard knock life.
'Cause that's her jam, like from Annie. So she was feeling it.
I ain't gonna lie. When that came out, that flip was pretty fire. Like I can't even lie. Like I was just like, because we came in the 2000s where like kids singing on the hook was a thing. Like you think about Nas, I know I can be what I want to be. You think about Trick Daddy. I don't know what that was like a moment like when kids were like singing and it worked. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I thought like Lil Durk, when he did the song, had the kids singing. I was like, oh, they kind of brought that back a little bit. So that's okay. That's dope. Well, my childish grown up moment is more of a grown childish moment, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I like to indulge in my beverages, and there's a beverage I really want to try, but it's a little too high right now. I want to try that Thug Passion for nostalgic purposes, but I didn't. However, I did. Hey, I know. Mama C is gonna appreciate this one.
Good.
I had to pull up. I had to grab me some of that Mad Dog. You know what I'm saying? I grabbed that Mad Dog 2020.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I grabbed that Mad Dog 20. Now let me preface this. It's revamped. It wasn't the OG in the 40 with the bag. It was some like little cute, like small blue raspberry type. So it wasn't like traditional Mad Dog. So I understood that, but still, I had to get out there and try that Mad Dog because I know how much the OGs talked about. Like, hey, you gotta be careful with that. Hey, yo, this. So I tried it out. I was cool. I was fine. Nothing happened. Flavor was pretty cool, but it was similar to like back in the day when we had Four Loco, and we
Oh, wait.
like when you knew you could take that first swig and you knew it's like, oh yeah, this this is you know what's going to happen. You know you done messed up, right? So, but I wasn't messed up because again the can was so small. It wasn't no crazy whatever. But you knew it's like yo, you mess around with this the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? That OE all that. So I felt good. I was like yo, I'm doing the OG thing. I'm getting the Mad Dog, the MD. You know, so that was hey. I mean, that's what we do. We create these experiences. So that's my childish grown childish moment. Just had to tap into. I tend to find myself doing that a lot. Is just trying to connect with what our elders, our OGs, unks, aunts dig. Just try to connect to it. Try to get the vibe for it. Now, like I said, I want to try that Thug Passion, but they still want 20 for the Alizé. I'm like, y'all bugging. Like I'm not paying because you still got to get another piece to the mix. And I'm like, that's 20 already just for the. I was like, man, y'all tripping. But one day, if I got a little extra change, I'm gonna try it out and I'm gonna throw that Thug Passion, baby. So we gonna get it popping one of these days. But yeah, right now it's just, in this economy,
No, for real.
for real. Like, hey, you got decisions. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's my childish grown up moment, and that's Mia's as well. So y'all, again, right in. Y'all give us. We ain't heard from y'all in a while, man. Ain't seen you in a while, boy. Boy, where you been? Y'all write in. Let us hear y'all childish grown up moments. We would love to tap in and if you ain't had one, be intentional this week as y'all hear this episode or this weekend rather, and tap into something that's childish and hit us back. We'd love to read it on air. So Ash is not here. The Flash with Ash is one of the favorite segments, of course, that the Stoop kids love. And I'm gonna do a little remix here. I'm gonna put a little Jermaine Dupri remix on this joint. I'm gonna call it a little Mo with Mo. You know what I'm saying? Y'all like what I did there? Gina in the house, that type of thing. When she pulled up on Martin at the radio station.
Oh my God.
Gina in the house. All right. So first, I wanted to ask. You are a big Spike Lee fan, right?
I am.
Okay. So where does this? And I could have put it in the later section, but I want to do it here. Where does this movie rank for you? And if you need me to read some, okay, but let's rewind a little bit. What is his best film to you?
Hands down, Malcolm X is, I
Okay.
think, his best work.
Yeah, I find it hard to debate that. I do. I find that hard to debate. All right. So that being said, let's read a few, and I just want to see where you rank this. So in the 80s, we got She's Gotta Have It, School Days, Do the Right Thing. We get into the 90s, Mo Better Blues, Jungle Fever. We already said Malcolm X, Crooklyn, Clockers, Girl 6, Get on the Bus, Four Little Girls, He Got Game, the movie we're reviewing today. 2000s, I'll get into that. I won't go to 2010. I think it's a lot different when we start getting there. Bamboozled, the original Kings of Comedy. Haha, didn't know that one. 25th Hour, She Hates Me, Inside Man, and When the Levee Broke, and Miracle at St. Anna. So, what is this movie? He Got Game ranked.
That's a lot. So some of those are documentaries,
Okay.
and some I actually haven't seen. But I gotta be honest, I think the acting in this film is great, but it's not my favorite. It's not one of
Hmm.
my Spike Lee
Okay.
movies.
Okay.
Uh, so it'd probably be. I mean, like I can't even like I don't even remember the number like of
Okay.
movie.
So I'm assuming you're going Crooklyn number 2.
No,
No.
no,
So that's personal favorite, but not so
that's a
much.
personal favorite, but I'm not. But as far as like his like work, what I think is just like all around
Okay.
best universally, I say Malcolm X and the Inside Man.
Okay. Inside Man. What about that? Where Do the Right Thing? Top 5.
Now, Do the Right Thing definitely is top five because it's just extremely culturally relevant. Like that's
Okay.
a classic.
School Days.
I would say that's a personal favorite, but I don't know if it'd be top.
Mm. Okay. Clockers.
I haven't seen that one.
Me neither. Mo Better Blues.
Oof. Now that's top five. I gotta put that top five.
Okay. Now this is why it's challenging because I'm with you. I would concede to all of those. Now you know they did a She's Gotta Have It later, like a series, which
Yeah,
was
yeah, I watched it.
yeah, it was pretty good. This is where it gets tricky, that fifth spot. That's why I feel like He Got Game kind of like it's hard to not. I mean, just that's so we got Jungle Fever. I'm just looking at some kind of like more notable.
I think I would put Crooklyn at my number five.
Number five, okay, that's fair.
I don't think he's got game wouldn't be in my top five
Okay,
person. And I will tell you why once we get to talking about this film, but it's just not my fave.
okay, all right. Well, we're still. This is our last movie, obviously, in our March Madness films. We did a lot of sports movies, so we're gonna do a little bit of this or that, and we're gonna see what you feeling. He Got Game or Hoosiers? Have you seen Hoosiers? Came out in '86.
I have not seen that.
That's okay. That's shout out to my hometown. That is Indianapolis, of course.
I know the Hoosiers are indie
Hey,
team,
hey, look, we out
but
here
I
on the football side. You know what I'm saying? All right. He Got Game or White Man Can't Jump?
oh, white men can't jump
Okay. He Got Game or Above the Rim?
above the rim.
Okay. Have you seen Blue Chips?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm gonna ask these few. I think I know the answers, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. He Got Game or Loving Basketball?
Loving basketball.
He Got Game or Like Mike?
He got game.
Oh, didn't see that one. He Got Game or Coach Carter?
Coach Carter.
He Got Game or Glory Road?
Okay. Glory Road is the one with. Remind me who's in that one
Yeah,
because
I
I've
got you.
seen it, but I can't remember exactly who. Like,
It is it's got Derek Luke in there. John Lucas. I don't know if you're familiar with him. I think it's like a historical film where he was one of the first to say have a starting five black basketball squad.
okay, so I feel like if I remembered that movie, I probably would choose it, but because I don't really remember it, I'm gonna have to go with He Got Game.
Okay. He Got Game or Sunset Park?
Never seen it.
Okay. He Got Game or The Sixth Man?
He Got Game.
He Got Game or Joanna Man?
That's funny because I literally was just before we got on here watching somebody do a reaction to Joanna Man.
Oh man.
Uh, and I love that movie. It's so funny. I think, but it's so hard to choose because that's a comedy and this is like a serious.
Yeah, but execution matters. Like how did they execute in the genre?
I think I have to go with if we're talking about impact, He Got Game, but for what I enjoy more, Joanna Man.
Okay. Lastly, before we get out of this, some Mo with Mo. Since we talked about these movies, and I can list them again if you need,
Uh-huh.
what would you say is your favorite basketball movie? You did O last year.
Yes.
We did Coach Carter last year.
Yes.
Again, we just talked about Joanna Man. We did Like Mike this year. Six Man was up for a vote. Loving Basketball we did last year. I guess that might be the answer right there. White Man Can't Jump. We haven't done it yet. So those are kind of like the big dogs of that. So what would you say is your favorite basketball movie?
It's gonna be between Love and Basketball and Coach Carter.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
Hard to choose which one for different reasons. But Um, yeah, it's one of those two.
It's one of those two. It's for me. It's between White Man Can't Jump and Love and Basketball. Because I'm not gonna say they equally have the same amount of substance. Because I think Love and Basketball is so layered. Y'all go back and listen to our review that we did last year. But there is some substance. If you watch closely to White Man Can't Jump, there is some substance there. Some gambling issues, some providing issues, some hustling. It's a lot there. We haven't done it, and I could have chose it, but I'm letting it marinate. I probably go Love and Basketball. I think it's a perfect movie. And I think White Man Can't Jump is really good, but Love and Basketball is a perfect movie. Like the four quarters, it's good across the board, like all the way.
It is.
So yeah, I'm going Love and Basketball for me. But shout out to all of the basketball films that was named and listed. Thoroughly enjoy that. Before Mia takes us back today, just want to talk about some notable things in 1998. You know what I'm saying? A big dog year. So let me get into that a little bit just to lay the land for us. In 1998, movies and entertainment, Titanic dominated the early 1998, which was continued from 97. Saving Private Ryan, it changed war movies forever. The Truman Show. Mm-hmm. I look forward to talking about this. And in the place that we live now, I look forward to talking about the Truman Show. Armageddon is a peak 90s blockbuster energy. Rush Hour. Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, they launched both of their career, and they became one of the popular duos in hip hop in Hollywood. Blade, come on. Do I need to say more? What else do I need to say about what Blade did for Marvel? I want to talk about a few more movies since we are a nostalgic and movie podcast. Half Baked came out, The Water Boy. I think that's about the notable ones. As far as music goes, 98 is a stack year. You know about this year?
I'm sure I do.
Okay, I'm about to lay it out for you.
Okay.
The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. We can stop there. I've listened to this album. It changed the way I made music, like when I was doing music. DMX, rest in peace, Earl Simmons, dropped 2 albums in that year. And I know you, if Ash was here, she could appreciate this. The Boy Is Mine.
Ooh, yeah.
Huge. And I think they're still on tour, right? Monica and Brandy?
I don't think they're on tour anymore. I think their tour is over, but that was a big one.
Jay-Z, your man's Hard Knock Life era. Aquemini, crazy enough, I was just talking about that earlier. Outkast. I'm going to run off a few of these real quick. Big Pun, rest in peace, Capital Punishment. Mos Def and Talib Kweli, Black Star, the joint album. Yes. Oh, I thought you were about to say.
I shout out to Talib Kweli because he messes with the hometown heavy.
Is he? Where is he from? Is he from the East Coast?
I don't know where he's from.
He gives East Coast vibes, but I could see him being from somewhere else.
Wow. For not knowing where he's from.
Now we got to take it to the South a little bit, like real quick. Master P, MP, The Last Don, Juvenile, 400 Degrees. We know what that did. Tribe Called Quest, if y'all into that. The Love Movement, Fat Joe's Don Cartagena.
Of course, he's from New York.
It's from New York. Okay, that's figures. So that's a little bit of the music side. TV and culture. The final episode of Seinfeld. One of the biggest episodes. We know that was in what was that? Times Square in New York. People was watching it outside. MTV launches Total Request Live, TRL. I think I spoke on that at some other, which is that name still throws me. Friends obviously was at peak popularity. The kids, us at the time, was watching Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. I'll be real, I was off the train after Mighty Morphin. Like once it got past Mighty Morphin, I wasn't on Power Rangers no more. Even though I was 8 years old, I was off of it. Sports moments. Michael Jordan hits the last shot. Everybody knows this. Even if you don't watch sports, you know everybody knows the famous shot that Michael Jordan did. Mark McGuire versus Sammy Sosa, the home run race. And of course, NFL was starting to grow. Lastly, tech in our everyday life. The iMac G3 drops with the colorful computers. I love that whole 90s era of colorful computers, phones, game systems, all that. I love the see-through, all that. Windows 98 launches. Windows 98 is probably the most popular Windows. Like we all had Windows. And lastly, internet, the dial-up era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout out to one of our cousins, Who the Ask You podcast with Rio and School. They're talking about the dark side of the 90s. It's really good. But they were talking about dial-up. It came up in there. So, but AOL, CDs was everywhere. And the game systems at the time, PlayStation, Nintendo 64. We loved it. So, and that's a little bit of the lay of the land going back to 98. Don't y'all miss those times. Come on. We all do. That's why y'all come to this podcast every week. So, with all of that being spoken and put there and laid out for you, Mia B, it's time for you to pull that lever and take us back to the year of this movie.
All right. We are going back, like Mo said, to 1998. And we are going to be talking about the Spike Lee joint, He Got Game. A basketball player's father must try to convince him to go to a college so he can get a shorter prison sentence. For cast, we have Denzel Washington
Mhm.
as Jake Shuttlesworth, Ray Allen as Jesus Shuttlesworth, Rosario Dawson as Lala Bonilla, Lynette McKee as Martha Shuttlesworth, Hill Harper as Booger, Zelda Harris as Mary Shuttlesworth, Mila Jovovich as Dakota Burns, Bill Nunn as Uncle Bubba, Michelle Shea as Aunt Sally, Ned Beatty as Warden Wyatt, Jim Brown as Spivey, Joseph Lee Taylor as Crudup. I can't remember how to pronounce it. And we also have a lot of appearances from Thomas Jefferson Beard as Sweetness, Roger Guinevere Smith as Big Time Willie, John Turturro as Coach Billy Sunday, Rick Fox as Chick Deegan, Leonard Roberts as DeAndre Mackey, J. Scott Yorker as a young Jesus Shuttlesworth, and the late great John Cephas as prison guard Burwell. And this movie was released May 1st, 1998.
Mhm. Thank you for that, Mia B. All right. So it's time for us to be kind and rewind. How do you remember this film? I don't know if you remember how it was introduced to you or just, okay. All right. So go from there. How do you remember this?
So, me being the girly girl that I am, girly girl through and through,
Oh, yeah.
I did not like I didn't see this movie until I was a teenager, and it was my high school boyfriend who introduced me to this movie because it just wasn't on my radar. Plus, he was a huge Celtics fan, and so Ray Allen at the time,
Mm.
uh, like one of
2008 right there. So that's,
yeah, one of his favorite basketball players. So, have you ever seen He Got Game? I'm like, no. Oh, you gotta watch it because Ray Allen. And I was very impressed with Ray Allen's acting,
hmm.
being that he's not an actor. Like for someone who, because you're on screen with Denzel, you can't really, like, it's very hard to reach that level of chops. He's a thespian, he's a seasoned actor, even by this time. And so his performance is just out of this world. So everybody else on screen with him kind of pales in comparison. But I did feel like Ray Allen kept up with the other cast very well. Um, And at the listen, this is where I miss my girl Ash because up until this point, I done seen a lot of Spike Lee joints, but I did not realize how Unc is a little overly freaked out. Like this movie is a little freaked out for me on the some of the overt sexual content that we get.
Exposure for sure.
And I'm not saying, hey, there's a time and a place, right? This just wasn't the time nor the place for me. So
yeah, a little too much jazz for sure. Too much jazz. I don't remember how this was introduced to me. I don't remember how I came across it, but I was later in years for sure. Watching it back then, whenever that was, I enjoyed it. I mean, we were super, like we talk about all the time. It was basketball and it was wrestling. Like that was huge for us in the 2000s. And, when I seen this film in the original time of seeing it, I liked it. I really wasn't looking at like Ray Allen's acting that much really. Like, I don't know. Everything felt normal. It felt regular. Everything made sense when I was younger. Upon this watch, there are some things that kind of don't make sense. And this is probably the Spike Leeism of the film that obviously we're going to talk about as we get into it. But I still enjoyed it. Like it overall, for what it was trying to get across, I did enjoy it. Very heavy-handed. Very heavy. And a lot of his movies are heavy-handed. But I think I'm starting to understand that he's using these heavy-handed tactics to exaggerate but make the point. The point is like, yeah, it may not be to this level, but this is just an exaggeration. But this is, nonetheless, it doesn't make these things not true or not possible. And I'm starting to understand that a little bit more. We did Crooklyn, and now we're doing this one, and it's starting to make a little more sense to me. And I had watched a little while ago, Jungle Fever, and I've seen a few of his films, like Jungle Fever, Do the Right Thing, School Days. So I'm starting to understand like his style a little bit more. Like, okay, he does these extremes. That's what makes it a Spike Lee joint. So, yeah. All right, so let's have a little bit of an overall discussion about this movie. Well, actually, let me bring up some interesting things about the movie that could have been, or just some interesting facts. So, for one, Spike Lee originally wanted Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
You familiar with that?
I am. I knew that.
Okay. And he wanted Kobe was first. Stephon Marbury also. Are you familiar with Stephon Marbury?
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't he from Coney Island?
He is. The story is loosely based off of him.
Right.
I just threw him in the chat if you just wanted to see what he actually looks like. But yeah, so it's loosely based off of him. And there's a documentary on Netflix that came out years ago, A Kid from Coney Island. I don't know if you had seen that.
I have.
Okay, so then, yeah, you got the reference there. So while I'm going through kind of these interesting facts, how do you think Kobe would have done?
That's hard to say because I've only seen him, do the very, the easy peasy guest star on a sitcom sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Kobe Bryant's acting chops would have been like. Like I have no way of gauging what that would have been like.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I hadn't seen this movie, you'd have never been able to tell me that Ray Allen was like doing a serious acting role. Like it's just no way to know.
Yeah. I think Kobe was fresh out of high school, so it is tough to call. I think Kobe, if you catch Kobe after his second season, I think he would have really killed it because Kobe has a certain kind of with Mamba mentality, even at that age, out of high school, where I feel like he would have took it as a real challenge and wanted to kill. You know what I'm saying? Especially knowing that his idol is Michael Jordan and he did Space Jam, so I think he would have taken it really serious and killed it. And again, I personally, a lot of people gripe Ray Allen. I don't. I think he did a good job. Personally, I think the way he was perfectly fit for how it was written. So that they actually wrote it well. I don't know how Stephon Marbury did. I hadn't really seen him in any roles, so I don't know how he would have done unless they just let him be his raw, authentic self. Maybe. This is Spike Lee's first film to open at number one. Interesting enough, like, and we named all of those ones in the '80s as well as the '90s. Ray Allen and Spike Lee, they had a conversation about having a de facto sequel. So to this film so Ray Allen was saying that he would envision Jesus Shuttlesworth nearing the end of his successful pro career, you know, much just like himself, as a part of the expression of interest in such a project. And when Miami Heat players were allowed to wear special jerseys with the nickname or initials as a part of the NBA promotion, Ray Allen wore J. Shuttlesworth on the back. Lee immediately and happily posted a photo of the back of Allen's jersey. That's fire to me.
That is.
Do you think a sequel could have worked? I know, like, this ain't your favorite film, but do you think it could have worked?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Some you probably already knew, but for the listeners that didn't know, Hill Harper, which was his cousin, he portrayed a teenager, and this man was 31 years old. That now, let me ask, what's crazier, him being 31, playing this cousin, or Sean Patrick Thomas playing a high schooler in Save the Last Dance, and he was 31? Because they both did an amazing job. Like, I believed they were young as they were portraying.
You know what? Like, I can't even say, because they both did a good job.
They nailed it. Yeah, no doubt. That's fair.
I do think I will always and forever feel like Sean Patrick Thomas was the most mature, grown up I've ever seen in a film. Like, hulking 30-year-old teenager with like but for what it was, it worked. It's just now being an adult looking back, it's like, this man,
bruh. No, what high school is like this, right?
Like, come on now. But no, he'll his thing.
Yeah. The teammates that he had, they were actual NBA players. I did not know that. I thought these were just actors, so they did a good job as well. Also, I didn't mention, but Allen Iverson was considered. Whoo. Now, Allen Iverson, I really would love to have seen him acting like that. He already had that grit, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he had the braids yet, though. He had a little mini fro at this stage, I think. If he did have the braids, it was the ones that was touching his neck. You know what I mean? Rosario Dawson was 18 and still a virgin, playing these scenes, similar to our girl from Insecure.
Yeah.
That played Molly, right?
Yes.
Let's see, anything else interesting? Nah, that'll do it. I think that's all right. So how do you feel about the musical score in this movie?
I thought it was really interesting, and that's a very Spike Lee thing too. Like, this was he he uses scores like this in most of his films. Especially the ones where he's trying to make a very, like, a big artistic statement, like an artistic point is being made. He's taking a lot of liberties with the continuity where it's a little abstract. Everything doesn't make realistic sense, but in his artistic expression, it does. I feel like the music kind of lends to that.
Mm-hmm. The first time I watched it, I was thrown off because I'm expecting some kind of urban style, but this time I thought it was so fly because I like that. I like that it made not just his movie artistic, but it made the sport of basketball more artistic,
Mhm.
special. Because at this time, you think about what people look at as, in our culture, people from less fortunate backgrounds playing basketball is just like, oh, you either rap or hoop type thing. And, I like that he kind of treated it a little bit more artistically. So I like that.
Spike Lee is a huge basketball fan.
Oh, absolutely. Season ticket holder. New York Knicks. Well, I was going to ask about Ray Allen, but you already kind of said how you felt about his acting. Both of us, we both liked it. So, my last question is: Jake a villain or in this movie?
I don't think so.
Okay, elaborate.
I think he was a very flawed character. And he admitted to his flaws in the end in his letter to Jesus, which maybe when I was younger, he may have come off as a villain, but now, being a grown up, being a parent, looking at my own parents differently, I think he was just a flawed person. Like he was pushing his child, um, and he may have had a lot of learned toxic masculinity. I saw a lot of that, but I don't think he was a bad person. I think he was doing the best he could with what he had. And I do believe he really, truly 1000% loved his kids. You're on mute.
We do get a little bit of that when we see a little bit of dynamics with the daughter, Mary. So I do. I think it's interesting. I was just watching this, and I was like, are we supposed to believe he's like the hero of the movie? Like, and I couldn't really paint the picture, and nothing has to be defined. Like that's the thing about artistry; it doesn't have to be defined. So I was just trying to see like how did I feel about it, and and I think you said it perfectly. It's like he's a flawed character, but it's like take from it what you will. If you leave it to the internet these days, they'll be painting the picture like a certain way. But I think it's real, and we don't get a lot of history on how he was raised and he was brought up, but we can kind of get the gist of the cycle of certain masculinity and certain things that he was doing, and it kind of ties into my moral of the story when I get there. So how do you got your notes set up? How do you want to do this? I got it like in scenes, kind of like what I mean. But I don't know if you have it relationships or dynamics or
Yeah. Mine is kind of like characters and relationship
okay,
uh between those characters, and then like certain themes, not necessarily scenes, but like the themes
okay. What's the earliest that you got established?
is just seeing Jake.
Okay, like Prison Jake.
Yeah, prison Jake, and then learning about him and Jesus and their father son dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's go into it then. If that's where you got it, because I got mine's just like kind of laid out scenes. So
Okay, so first of all, I just have to say, before we even get to Jake, like the opening scene
mm-hmm.
is very Spike Lee coded. Like it's such a Spike Lee opening scene.
I love it.
Um, I think it is beautiful artistically. It was too long for me because I'm not
Oh,
back.
don't get me started on too long.
I'm not basketball girly. So I was like, okay, can we get to the point? But I get the artistic expression, especially for people who like that. So
Do you think that it needed? Was there a narration?
no, it was just the music and the people in the basketball, the
Do
playing.
you think it could have used narration? Do you think that would have helped?
I mean, I don't know what they could have been saying? Like, what would the narration have been?
Yeah, I guess because it's like this movie is not like Love and Basketball. Or like basketball in Love and Basketball is the language that they
Right.
speak. I'm a ball player. You know what I'm saying? Or basketball is not fun for me anymore because you're not. You know what I mean? You're not in it. That's their language. That's a love language for them. I guess if they did do a narration, it may have not worked because basketball is not a. It's not the language for this movie. It's maybe a little bit of the catalyst, but it's not. It's not the. It's definitely not like the language. So I guess yeah, maybe yeah. I can see him like cutting it a little bit more. Yeah, yeah. He's getting his artistic flex off.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
we get that, but we'll go ahead.
So seeing Jake, he's playing basketball in the prison yard. And once he gets called into the warden's office, and shout out to this actor because he played the warden in life too, I believe, once they were old, like
Mm,
and living at the anyway, sorry.
that's okay.
uh, no, so we learn that he has a son who is gonna be number one draft pick, or he's top seed. I don't know the basketball terms. All I know is he's highly sought after recruit.
Yeah, that's yeah, top pick. Like they're looking at him as the yeah, he's that guy. LeBron in this movie. Let's put it that way. Like how LeBron was in high school. For those of the LeBron fans, that's what Jesus Shuttlesworth was.
Heard. So
I'm not a LeBron fan, so don't. I mean, hey, look, but I understand. But we were there when we in '03 when we seen like who is this guy? So yeah.
and they make him an offer he can't refuse, right? But we don't know at this point what their relationship is like. We don't know why Jake is in prison. We don't know if he speaks to his son, you know, and what we come to find out, this ain't that. Like they're trying to get him to get out and influence his son, and his son doesn't even want anything to do with him.
Mm.
Uh, but from Jake's opening conversation with the warden, it's kind of like you get a sense that he wasn't into trouble when he was free. He doesn't give off like he was just a common criminal. So you can assume that there's some sort of like odd situation that put him in prison. It's not like he was just out committing petty crime.
Hmm. I think that really worked for the movie. And I guess I kind of was thinking about like when they do get the reveal, they kind of I think, and it's not in my later section. I think they kind of stepped on it a little bit because they do it in a passing way, and then they give us the big reveal later when they get the flashback. And I'm almost like, you know what I mean? I don't know what Spike's thinking was in that moment to like kind of pass it, like you killed my mother, that whole thing, and then we actually get the flashback of it. We didn't. It was kind of a weird sequence to me in some sense, but yeah. But I don't know, bro. I just found I just it's in a later section, but I'll say it here since you're already here with Jake and the warden. This just doesn't. I'm sure there's inspiration. I'm sure there's been a thing like this. This don't come out of nowhere. Like Spike Lee is a brilliant, arguably genius in this space, but like it just felt like odd, bro. It felt like an odd way to begin the plot to me. I just wish they would have took a different approach on, okay, we need Jake to get to his son. Like, oh, get to his son so that his son can go to the governor's how you say it? Automata? Yeah, like thank you. Go like his former college. Like go back to his school so that makes him look good. It's like that was whack, bro. I'm sorry. Like it just what like you know what I mean?
It came off as realistic to me. Just people do crazy stuff when it comes to sports, and
That's true.
they like put a lot of money and like especially certain people put a lot of money back into their alma mater.
Hmm.
And so, and sports is a humongous source of revenue for these schools. So I felt like it's something, it's not too, you don't have to suspend reality too far to think something like this has or would happen.
But think about it. He's a murderer or manslaughter. I don't know. I don't know how they classified it, but murderer, manslaughter, and you say, "Hey, we're going to let you out for a week to convince your son." When you like, you know what I mean? I get the wildness of it, but it's like, I don't know. It just feels so like every time I've seen this movie, it just feels like what? I don't know. Every time to me, it feels like that. So, but where else you want to go with Jake?
Um, so what do you, because mine is really just talking about the dynamic between him and Jesus. But if you have a scene, like a specific scene, next we can go.
Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of maybe I don't know. I can't remember how far ahead this is jumping, but the Lala and I have Lala got Jesus Shuttlesworth sprung.
Mm.
He's painting her toenails, and don't get me wrong, Rosario Dawson is one of them ones. A lot of jazz there. Be very clear. There's a lot of jazz, but come on, like, bruh, come on. And yeah, and what I did like is tying off of this thing that Spike Lee got real coaches. It just made this movie feel so real. Like I'm so glad he actually did that because, you know, similar to like Mike that we did in this rotation. Like when you get real players into it. But this movie was trying. He was trying to give a raw, gritty picture of what it looks like to enter the draft or enter college, because from a person that comes from a bad background. You know what I mean? He's raising his sister. His father is known as he's a convict, you know, because of what he did to your mother. Like, so I like what he was doing here. So I like that he brought coaches. It made the movie feel like, is this a movie? Is this a documentary? Like, I like the idea of that. Like, I don't know what his thinking was in 98 or 97, whenever he wrote this. But he shot it in 23 days, which is amazing. 23 days to get this film off a 2.5, almost 2.5 hour film is amazing. But yeah, so I kind of got that scene, just Lala with him and that whole thing. So if you want to get into that scene or if you want to get into their dynamic.
Oh, man, okay. So the first scene with them when he runs for the bus and like she's waiting for him and he gets there a little late, but he made it. You do see she got this boy wrapped, at least for now. And I instantly didn't trust her. Like she did not come off as a trustworthy character. And it was just in her demeanor. Like her trying to get him to meet with an agent and him being so adamant about telling her, no, I can't do that. Like, that's illegal. I can't meet with an agent while I'm looking to get scouted for college. She was just pushing the issue
Yeah.
and, and pressing. And that came off so like sneaky or sketchy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I paid it that much attention back in the day watching this, but like now I'm like, oh.
There's a flagrant scene when he meets that agent. Like, how didn't you get that? Even as a high schooler, how didn't you get that? They're in the pool together, bro.
Like,
Bruh.
and that's another thing. She was wild. She was wild.
She was there. I mean, she was trying to get a payday. I get it, and it's interesting when we get to a later scene and we will, like where she comes from, like she ain't really lying. You know what I mean? Like to some degree. Like, but yeah, it's an interesting thing. But this speaks to what happens when you have a lack of a father. He don't really know this. This is at least how I'm gauging what they're trying to approach, which is why I think Jake's influence matters so much towards the latter end of the movie. It's like he don't really know how to gauge a woman. You know what I mean? His mom is gone, so she can't give him game. His dad is in prison, so he can't give him game. So this is the best that he could do. He's not really sure of anything. He's not sure of a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? All he know is Lala is consistent. She's consistently around. She's around me when I'm riding the bus. She's around me, you know, who knows how long they've been together. We get intimate. We obviously find out a little bit of their history in a later scene. So it's all he knows is she's consistent. You know, he has a few people that are consistent, but obviously we get big reveals throughout the movie, which really weighs heavy on the Jesus Shuttlesworth character. So Jake getting out, like that whole sequence of things. He gets out. He got a week to get him to sign to, what was it? Big U?
Big state.
Big state. All right. We obviously meet the cops that he's rolling with. They're mad disrespectful. They look at him as the scum of the earth. They're in a nice hotel. They put him in, you know, they put him in a trap motel. But he ain't tripping about it. He's looking like, oh, this is cool. This is a dude. Like, yeah, I wanted to ask, what did you think about like Jake being out in like kind of that part of the story? Like this whole Jake and the prostitute, Jake getting money to get Jordans, Jake, just that whole side of, because I don't have a lot for that area of the movie. So if you want to cover that whole dynamic, we could talk about that now.
It was strange to me only because when they let him out, they gave him an ankle monitor and they made up this like whole like he's sick and we're just gonna get you out for a week. But at the same time, like it was just strange to me that they didn't try to do it like with a legit furlough type of situation because like what if somebody had called the police on, like there were so many things that could have happened um that just it didn't make sense for them to have him out and be monitoring him but like under the table sort of thing because nobody like expected him to show up, like, and apparently his kids were left with his wife's sister and her husband. So they have nothing but ill feelings towards Jake. If he shows up, who's to say that they wouldn't just call the police? Like, what are you doing here? You know? And, but again, movie magic. I didn't ask too many questions at the time.
Well, what was your question though? What were you getting at?
I was just thinking that there could have been like, why didn't they just release him temporarily on like a furlough instead of
What's furlough? What is that?
so it's like a temporary break. But I mean they're not giving out
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay, like legitimate above board.
right, usually
Like when they do for funerals.
right for funerals and stuff like that. They could have made an excuse and said, oh, he has to attend blah blah blah, so we're letting him out.
They piss me off. Oh, they piss me off.
So it's like ah. Then the dynamic with the the detectives or the agents or whoever they were,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I didn't understand why they were being so rude to him. Like I get it, he's the criminal, so to speak, but why are we acting like this?
It could be, and this. I mean, it may not. I'm not saying it, but like I think, and I have no evidence to back this up, but I think when it comes to the authorities, I think that when they know your crime, It depends on what your crime is. When they find out you killed your wife, I think that's the beginning of you are scum.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Maybe they didn't give us anything in the movie that lend to that. We just thought they just give us that these cops are assholes, and they don't think you should be out in general. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like you, I don't care for you, and I ain't got no grace for you.
And maybe they could just be assholes because we
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
you know it be like that
It do
sometimes.
be like that, yeah. Like, you're a criminal, bro. Like, you actually did the crime. Like, it ain't no, I was misrepresented. It wasn't me. Nah, you know you did that. Like, you did that. But
But I didn't have too much else on that. I really just like um Jake walking up on his daughter.
okay,
And
we can go there.
I was curious to know how old she was when he went to prison
Hmm.
because she recognized him immediately and she knew who he was. She recognized his voice, his nickname for her. She was happy to see him, but I guess we're to assume he's been in prison for what, 5, 6 years at this point?
Yeah, I think he had said it to the prostitute. Like, he gave a number of how many days, which, like, I think he says like 5 or 6 years.
So she probably was about 6 years old. Or
Okay,
maybe,
so that so you saying so they make it like 12 now, right?
yeah, she gives like because they said she was going to middle school.
Okay, so okay, yeah, that makes sense. Cause I was confused too, so I'm glad you're kind of piecing it together.
Because I had thought when I was watching it before she was a baby, like she was like
Yeah, me too.
a baby,
Cause
but
we didn't see her in any scenes like in the flashbacks.
right. So she was old enough to know who her daddy was.
That might be a continuity issue now that I think about it.
But then knowing that Jesus never gave her any of their dad's letters and definitely wasn't taking her to see him,
Hmm.
let her talk to him, it was crazy to me that she was just so,
Connected.
yeah, like, but fathers and daughters, what can you say? You know?
That's true. Hey, I get that. Um, yeah, when he pulled up on her, and because what I liked is the idea of, okay, I got to come up with a plot and a plan on how to do this. And there was a moment where the authorities that are escorting Jake, they're like, the sooner you get done with this, the sooner we can take you back. So I liked how he played it, and it kind of lends to like the later scene when he goes back, where I was mad for Jake. I'm like, bro, this is injustice. But then I thought about it. He's not looking at it like, oh, yeah, did me dirty, did me wrong. I'm in here anyway. I ain't going nowhere. So if I could get 7 days of freedom, to somewhat freedom outside of these walls, to just see, it's nice. So I had to look at it like that. But like, when he pulls up on the daughter, like, he has to plot this idea of, okay, I got to figure out how can I approach him. And he chooses to say, okay, this is the way. This is my entryway. Is it right? That's debatable. But like, he had to figure out how to come at it in a genuine way before he had to lay it all on the line later in the movie. And it was adorable. Like, just seeing how she felt about him, and it was adorable. And he's having a conversation, and I don't know if he really had intent to leave before Jesus got there. Maybe he was just telling her that this is where I start not building a case, but kind of trying to see from the other side, like, is Jake the villain because of these moments? Like, it was like you kind of set her up in a way.
Yeah, I'm like, put your baby girl in a bad situation. Like you put her in a bad spot.
For real, for real.
Told you that she could get in trouble, for up and you went up and you're like, I'll just leave before he comes. And maybe, I mean, who's to say? Because I mean, I'm sure he didn't know what time Jesus would be back. And maybe they both just lost track of time. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but he shouldn't have asked to go up anyway. He
Mm.
should have just sat and talked with her outside. I
Yeah,
don't,
sure.
yeah, you're her father, but you've been in prison for years. This isn't, she's still a child. She's not taking care of herself. So you really should respect whatever decisions whoever it is who's raising her has
Yeah,
made. So
putting a lot of pressure on her.
yeah, that's a lot to put because of course you're her father. She's gonna
Yeah,
say,
yeah, exactly. We all been there. parents from time to time can lean hard, can lean hard. Um,
And so I
but Jesus pulls up and he calls him a stranger.
mhm.
And this scene was just so good because the tension felt real. And this is where me and you, I think we are aligned on Ray Allen's acting because it's awkward, but it feels real. And that's what I think his acting was good. I'm not saying he deserves some award for what he did in the movie, but I think kind of the offbeat, awkward response and reaction in this movie lines up. And, just the tension felt real. And I think Denzel knew, like, hey, look, just bounce off of me. I'll pick up where you lack. And he's like, hey, okay, man, all right, hey, all right. Well, when can I talk to you? I want to holler at you, And he don't, but and he's like, all right, I'll probably be out there. Maybe I'll be out there. And then they go over to Uncle Bubba's and Aunt Sally's, and Unc turns this into a you owe me, and I can't stand this, bro. It's
This was
just sad.
this was so frustrating to watch. This scene was just it gave me like the ick in so many ways because one of the things I have in my notes is athletes and the way that they're treated, just like by it's so frustrating. You're seeing everything from Jesus's perspective and how everybody wants something from him. Everybody's asking him for something in some way. And it's just like, oh my goodness. And for his uncle, and you see his aunt wasn't with it,
Mm-hmm.
with she should have bopped him upside his head
Straight up.
because he was out of line. He was out of order in so many ways. Like this boy hasn't even gone to college yet, and you're already telling him
I'm leaving here with something.
to take care of you once he makes it, and not asking or, "Hey, you gonna take care of us?" And you need to do this. You owe me this, and it's like, excuse you.
Yeah, it was crazy to me. It was sad because you start to really understand the pressure that Jesus carries. He's raising his sister. Again, his mom is no longer here. His dad is in prison. He's got his own spot. He's trying to do the right thing. I'm not taking money from nobody. I'm not, I'm trying to be legal with all of it, which is crazy because of the era we live in now. College players get paid, which is, crazy looking at this movie now. And you get this moment where Uncle Bubba's like, now I'm an opportunity to you, bro. Like, which was crazy. He's like, oh, don't worry, you'll get yours. And it's like, he's just forced to grow up so fast. And that was the sad part of it because he lost his mother was so young. He was just forced to grow up fast. And I just like, damn, I just really didn't like this. So it put a lot of pressure on him. But there's a little sidebar, and maybe you can answer this for me. What was that about when his sister was playing a video game with their cousin? And she was like, I'm the bomb. Say it. I'm the bomb. And he was looking at her like real awkward, like, I don't know if it was weird. I don't know what they were trying to put out there, but it was like a weird scene. I don't know. Maybe it's a different weird choice of direction. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't call it.
Okay, that's fair. But we get Jake. He finally, ends up pulling up and talking with Jesus. But before that, he compliments his nephew. And his nephew at first, was like kind of like, hey, Uncle Jake, all right, Uncle Jake, because he was nervous of him because we don't get the flashback yet, but we know like, okay, Uncle Jake is a hothead and he'll throw you out the house until you stop eating altogether and leave, And so him seeing this, he didn't know until like Jake pretty much give him an icebreaker, like, man, you grown a little bit. And, he was sitting there like, that's the best thing I've heard this year. And shout out to Hill Harper, man. One of my favorite actors that never gets enough credit. There's got to be a Hill Harper led movie. Like, I don't know, but I want to really talk about, I like him a lot and everything he plays. He just don't get talked about a lot. But it's a great scene between Ray Allen and Denzel. This argument about religion and his name, and we get the reveal right here. Which was said that Jake killing his mother, and it just felt so real.
Hmm.
What did you think about that? That this whole on the court transaction? Because I think he wanted to play him then. He's like, bro, I'm not doing that, bro. Like,
Right. And he's like, Jesus's thing is, I don't have a father. You're not my father.
mm-hmm,
And you see Jake trying so hard to, connect with him because he does need something from
mm-hmm,
him.
mm-hmm,
But first he has to get past this wall that he already has up. And he's like, there's nothing I can do. Like, I can't bring your mother back.
mm-hmm,
And Jesus like, did you even love my mother? Like, of course I did. At this point, we don't know the circumstances under which Martha was killed. We just know that Jake did it. And so now we get an understanding of why Jesus reacted that way when he saw Jake in his apartment, or why he doesn't really want anything to do with him. And it's like, okay, my thought was, so how are you going to ask him for anything?
mm-hmm.
How did you even think you would be able to come out here and ask him for anything? If you know that this is how he feels about you, or how he sees you as basically just the man who killed his mother. And throughout the flashback scenes, I think it explains more about their dynamic than we just see with him being angry at Jake for killing his mother. It was also he was he was an asshole. Like, he was pushing him so hard when it came to basketball that it just didn't look fun. Like, he was taking all the fun out of it. And he wasn't being like a father so much as he was being a coach.
Mm.
And Jesus probably didn't realize that's probably why he was great.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a Joe Jackson thing.
But the method also caused a lot of trauma
Mm-hmm.
and like put a rift between them,
Yeah,
which actually led to his mother's death.
yeah, yeah. What do you think about that scene of the mother, that whole interaction? Since we're kind of in that flashback a little bit, what do you think about that? Like, because I don't know. When I first watched it, I thought I was like, "Damn, that's real." But this time watching it and looking close, I don't know if they really executed it properly. Because we're supposed to get this feeling that Jake gets so aggressive with his son, and he like, get off me, and then he puts his hands on his wife Martha, and he shoves her, and we're supposed to look at it like she hits her head, and hit her head so much that she bleeds out. But when I watched it, I was like, it didn't really look that way.
Well,
Because it's like she was like forward, stove, then fall on the ground. And that's why I was like, so she hits it with the front of her head, but the back of her head is bleeding.
no, the back of her head wasn't bleeding. Her nose was bleeding. It was like
Okay.
she had a skull fracture,
Okay.
and like, so her nose was bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the whole scene, it was so. This is a painful scene to watch because what starts out as her basically telling them, like, y'all gotta chill. Like, this whole basketball wars situation has to stop. Like, and of course, Jesus had thrown the basketball over to the other side of the wall on the court. Wherever it was, they couldn't get to it. And Jake was upset about that, starts chastising Jesus about throwing the ball. And he's a little hothead, just like his dad. He wants to be excused. He's trying to walk away. There's that toxic masculinity coming in where it's like Jesus's feelings came as disrespect to Jake. And it was disrespectful. I'm not saying it wasn't disrespectful, but the way that he went after Jesus in that moment and Martha trying to come between them and protect her son, break them up. It was just a very, it looked to me like a very unfortunate accident. Nothing about it looked like he intended, to hurt her. But in his rage, he was just doing too much.
He's doing too much, bro.
And there's no other way for me to say it really. He was just like, he was
And he was drinking as well too. So it's like it's crazy because I just watched Fences.
okay.
Weirdly, you seen that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I thought about shout out to Denzel seeing him with his son. Where there's that moment where his son needs to get in the house and he's sitting on the porch, and he was basically kind of tells like his dad like watch out, move, like not saying excuse me. And he basically's like, bro, you don't live here no more. Like I don't have to do that. She's like, oh, so you can't even tell me. You can't even say excuse me. You know, it's weird how it felt. I connected that to this, which came out, 20, 30 years late before. And you're right. Like the son, yeah, but you led him there. Like the son was out of pocket, but you led him there. He is a human being.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're expecting him to be something, to be a way that he can't be because you pushed him somewhere else. He's got real human feelings. You know what I mean? Like you can't do that with your kids. You pushed them too far to the point where it's like, okay, I'm not looking at you as dad now. I'm looking at you as somebody else. So, and he tried to be, in some regard, tried to be respectful. Like, bruh, I don't even want to be around you because you're so mean to me. Like that's what Jesus is feeling. You're so mean. Like, you fouling me, you pushing me. Like I don't want to play no more. Like throw the ball. Like, you know what I mean? You're so mean to me. Like, oh, you gonna cry every time you're going hard. Which it does add to his greatness as far as him being as good as he is. Like that's why Jake, when he says like all that you got from me, he is right. He is right because if anybody's ever watched the Jordan Bulls doc on Netflix, The Last Dance, Jordan would go so hard on his team that playing other teams felt easier because of how hard Jordan would be. He's so mean, so grimy, so dedicated to like winning in practice and talking trash that when they play other teams, they felt easier, which is why they could have the 72-10 record. Out of 82 games, they won 72, which is ridiculous. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's the same thing. Like with Jesus and his father, is like his father went so hard on him before he went to prison. They're like, bruh, I play my dad. Like y'all ain't nothing to me, bruh. Which is why he excelled. So it's that's always the challenging thing. Like I alluded to the Joe Jackson thing with the Jackson 5. It's like it's just the hardest thing. You go so hard on them, but on the flip side, it's a sacrifice. Like all of it, me and you and Ash, we're parents, so you're trying to figure out how much to give without them losing track of who you are to them, and that's the challenge. Because if you pull back too much, you may not propel them into greatness, but if you push too much, you'll propel them to greatness, but you'll lose the respect, or you'll lose the dynamic of the parental relationship that you have with them. That when they get older, they can't appreciate you now because what they didn't have from pushing them so hard. So yeah, that's just great.
Like he's going off of your example. He sees the type of man you are. This is how you handle your feelings. This is how you handle your emotions. You lash out, you get loud. So he's doing what he sees. He was doing exactly what he saw. And you see, even as a parent taking care of his little sister, he still is very hot-headed in how he approaches her, but it still comes from a place of love.
Hmm.
Like, this would have been a great pick for our Father's Knows Best category.
I know.
But
You're right.
because the whole like there's so much to talk about with this movie. It's hard to pinpoint like how to break it all down.
Yeah.
But the crux of it is really just Jake and Jesus
Yeah. Father
and
and
the
son.
commitment that Jesus has for his father. Like it's really he's so angry. He has so much hatred and resentment towards his father. But in the end, I don't even think it was really about what his father did like to his mother. I think it was just a culmination of how hard he pushed him,
Hmm.
where they left their relationship off, the fact that he couldn't be there for him anymore and he didn't have a mother anymore.
Yeah. You pushed me hard, and then you took my mother out. So, and again, I think there's a realness in. He said, "Son, call the ambulance, call the police, or whatever." Like, there's a realness in that moment where you genuinely know he didn't mean to, and but it's so hard for Jesus to see otherwise because of how you've been, and that's where it left off. You know what I mean? So it's like, bro, every time we've encountered, I just feel you being mean to me and overly coaching me. And then now my mother's gone. And now I gotta be the man. So it's like it's a lot of context missing. And that's why I think when Jake got out and was able to start talking with him, he wasn't able to give everything he got, but there is some good moments of like the origin of his name. And it's like, oh, you thought it was like just biblical, but he spoke to one of the a legendary basketball player back in the day. I think the '70s, I believe. He spoke to that, and then he was like, "Oh, okay, there's a little bit more there."
And so that's why it was so difficult because it never felt like a right time for him to bring up
Right.
this letter of intent.
Hmm.
Like every time they were talking, I'm like, oh my goodness, is he gonna mention it? But it never felt like a good time because as soon as they start making a little progress when he's talking to him about his name and basketball, it's like, okay, they're getting warm. As soon as you ask him about this, that's gonna put that wall right back up.
Hmm.
Because he already doesn't trust you.
Hmm.
And now you're asking him for something. So now not only does he not trust you, but you're just like everybody else
Yeah,
who wants something from him.
and he already has seen like he already got this feeling of Lala. Jake. You
And
know,
it's not even just like when you like throughout the movie, literally everybody he interacts with is asking him for something.
yeah,
His
his
high
coach.
school coach
Hmm.
is asking him for
His
something.
sister is saying that like, hey, I ain't got to worry about nothing, which triggers Jesus that he gets way out of pocket with his sister. Just because it's again like not because the people bringing it to his sister kind of puts her in the place of she's not asking, but she's saying something that makes him feel like you're no, not you too type thing. So
And it's like
Uncle Bub.
Uncle uh Bubba
Hmm.
and you know,
Big time sweetness.
no big time Willie.
Is that what it's Willie? Okay.
Yeah, the sweetness was the pimp, which
Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But big time Willie. Even, can you talk about? Let's talk about that car ride a little bit.
woo-wee. Okay, let's
Because
talk about that.
here, I'm gonna lay this all out, and then we can make it land high lands. I got the big time Willie car ride, the meeting with the agent with Lala and her brother quotation mark, the college campus visit,
Yeah,
uh, the argument between Jesus and Lala to break up, and then lastly the last Jake game with him.
let's
So
go that way.
okay, so go for it with the big time ride.
Okay, so we get basically some information that this guy is the one who's paying for the apartment that that
I
Jesus.
did not catch that. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Mm.
because we learned like Jesus doesn't have a job. He doesn't have any income. Um, and when Jake asks him like, "I don't want you," or says, "I don't want you owing anybody anything," because they've done something for you, and he's like, "I have to take care of my sister. Like, I have to do what I have to do." So Big Time Willie is the one paying the bills, basically paying the rent. Um, and this car ride, the conversation is a very Spike Lee conversation. Um, he's telling him basically, and then the Spike Lee isms come out a lot here with the random people who he has doing the those little cut to scenes. So Big Time Willie's telling Jesus, like, everybody loves you when you're on. Everybody's going to love you. Everybody's going to want something from you. And you cut to the people saying, hey, I love you. I need some money. I need this. I need that. And then he starts talking about women, like, you're not immune to women. And we have like a little slip in because this is, the 90s. HIV was, not to say that it isn't still a thing, but it was really um running rampant around this time. So they slipped that in there. And then we see Spike Lee's overly freaked out montage of sex and women, which completely unnecessary if you ask me. But I feel like Big Time Willie had some the message versus the messenger, because the message wasn't wrong.
It wasn't like as much as his cousin wanted to try to play him a certain kind of way, he wasn't wrong, bro. And I think we needed a character like Big Time because he gave us the layout of why this decision was so big. I think the coach tried to lay it out, the dad tried, Jake tried to lay it out. So many people's trying to lay it out, but I think Big Time laid it out the best because he's like, bro, this is the alternative. And obviously, we know, there's so many talented people that come from less fortunate neighborhoods that did not make it to the league in baseball, football, soccer, whatever it may be. Like they did not make it because of all of these influences. And he lays out those influences. He talks about drugs. He talks about drinking, and you see what happens at that extreme. Like, oh, after that, gambling, money, women, diseases. He lays it out straight up. Again, do we need as much explicit this is that? Nah, we don't. And if you're going to do that, we really don't need the college campus explicit part. You know what I mean? We don't need both. But I think I actually, this is, when I think about this movie, this is the scene I think about the most.
What scene?
Big Time. Like,
Really?
yeah, every time when I think about He Got Game, I always think about this and when Denzel slapped him in the throat, slapped the old boy in the throat, you know. But I see the scene every time, like, because it's this to me, because even then in the scene we get a nod to Stephon Marbury where he was like, man, you don't make it out. He said Stephon Marbury made it out of Coney Island, which, obviously we know this movie is kind of based around. So I always think about this scene, that which make that line hit even different. It's similar to Baby Boy when we see Tupac posters in Tyrese's room. You know what I'm saying? So I like that nod, but to me, I always think about it, and I think that we need this. That's mind blowing that you just told me that he's paying for it, because I had no idea who was paying for it. And it's interesting to make you think, why did he go with him versus like the coach tried to give him some money, or there's so many different places he could have got some money. Why go with the street dude? And maybe he just.
I think it's because everybody else who was trying to give him money was trying to influence him to make a certain, or to go to a certain school or to give them certain information,
Yeah.
as to where I feel like this dude was just doing it off of the strength of, like, it's an investment.
Yeah, like maybe he's like the street dude. Like we hear these stories like I'm the street dude that will not let you participate in that activity. Like they're like, nah, bro. Like, nah, we're gonna protect you. Stay away from this. This ain't what you want, bro. Like you need
Right.
nah, go get you an education. Like Stacy from the Wood.
Right. It wasn't given that he really wanted anything from him, or
Yeah.
that he wanted to put him, like, he never wanted, like, you have to work this off. Like, it
Hmm.
just seemed like he was looking out.
This is kind of his giving turkeys back to the hood.
So to speak.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like this helps his moral compass when he's doing immoral things. And the actor that plays this, I've alluded to it when we did Tales from the Hood. Yeah, Tales from the Hood. And this is probably my favorite role that I've seen him in.
Really?
It there is this little bit of seems like he's trying too hard.
I think that is a direction choice.
Yes, but it does seem like he's trying too hard. I know he is biracial, but it still feels authentic. I feel like there's dudes in the hood like this. You know what I mean? So, but it does feel like that, and I get why people be like, I don't, but I always felt like I was like, man, I wish I would see him do more stuff like this. That's how I've always felt when I see this actor. I don't see
That's
him a lot.
that's such a Spike Lee scene. Like,
Yeah, it is.
dialogue is always so over exaggerated. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he uses so much, like, the way he talks, like he's trying to sound real street and using a whole lot of street, like slang,
Mm-hmm.
and way that he's enunciating his words. It's very, very Spike Lee coded.
It is. The college campus scene.
Uh,
What
right.
you what do you want to say about that? Because obviously he's jazzing it out on that too.
Eh,
You
ain't
know,
nothing changed but the listen.
yeah.
So the more things change, the more
One
things
things
stay
is the
the
same.
same.
That's right.
And not listen.
Yep. They laid it out. He nailed it. Like
Um,
when
the white
Lala.
the white girls at the colleges and these black star athletes. It is a tale as old as time. It ain't changed a bit. And this was Spike Lee's way of drawing attention to that, I suppose.
White hood. Okay, okay, okay. Nah,
Mo.
it's a Childish Gambino lyric. Yeah, I thought I just wanted to say I thought Rick Fox did great. Like I was like, bro, he's so natural.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he like, I mean, obviously he did more things with the game and Tyler Perry films. He went on to do more. And he still pops up in things all the time, but he did really great here. Felt natural, and I was like, bro, this is probably the first and only time I thought Rick Fox looked like a cool dude. I don't. Now he ain't never came off cool to me. Like
Listen,
he's Canadian. Like I mean, shout out to the biggest Canadian. But which
anyway,
but I understand. Ain't no anyway. But we know he's corny. That's fine. I'm not tripping about it. I'm fine with it. But he has his cool moments. But Rick Fox, I never looked at as cool ever. But like this was like,
because us girls, we know Rick been one of them ones. Always been one of them ones.
yeah,
But
okay. Till y'all have
okay,
a conversation with dude, you're like, oh, okay, he's
if
kind
you
of a geek.
only
But
say,
I could work with a girl. He's kind of a
and,
geek, but
and we go up for geeks. First of
yeah,
all,
yeah, in this era, not back then though. It was like it was the bad boy.
Rick Fox has always been one of them ones.
Okay. All right.
Ask Mama C, and she'll tell
Oh,
you.
okay. Hey, maybe she got a few degrees of separation with Rick in the industry. Like she always had these stories. So maybe who knows?
Yeah,
Mama, see right in. We definitely want to hear that.
say we want a silver fox. We talking about a Rick Fox. That's what we talking.
Uh, oh, oh. Thanks for enlightening me. If we want when we talking Silver Fox, we talking Rick Fox. Hey, that's an excerpt right there. So after that visit, pretty much him and Jesus and Lala pretty much break up and they had a conversation. he puts together that she's sleeping with with Drumline Shawty,
Yeah.
and and she puts together that he was getting down get down with the snow bunnies, and it was a real conversation. It was a real conversation. Like she understood, like you're gonna leave me behind because that's how it happens. High school sweethearts. Y'all tend to do that when you go until you forget about me. You go to greener pastures, and and then we find out we get a big reveal that they were once pregnant but are no longer. And so it's like the interesting thing about it is you want to not like Lala because she does is a finesser and she is using him to some degree. But there is this interesting thing when you see that flashback of her actually making the decision to go through it. So I don't know, she really cared for dude. Now, could that have changed her forever? Where she's like, now I'm going to get something out of this? Maybe, possibility, But that scene kind of every time it hits, it levels how I feel about Lala. I say I can't hate this character. I can't hate her. There is a even. Like, I think Spike does this through this whole movie. The characters, you want to love them and you want to hate them, but you can't do either. He's giving you a real human experience.
That's it. And I feel like that's a Spike Lee thing.
Hmm.
Very flawed characters who have good and bad qualities most of the time. Very
Hmm.
human, very
Like your man Gator. What is it? Gator from
Jungle Fever.
Jungle Fever. Another one of them characters. Yeah.
Mhm. And I think Lala, yeah, like I didn't hate Lala's character because I actually understood where she was coming from.
Yeah. I did.
Um, but I also do kind of feel like in a very in a weird way, I do feel like if she would have held it down, he probably would have stayed with her.
I think so.
And it probably would have took a lot of growing pains as it does with young student athletes. But I think that if she would have held it down, he probably would have.
She wanted grown man vibes. Like
It was
I think because like she liked him. Like I definitely she liked him, but I think when old boy came through, I just think that he's painting her toes, bro. Like, and Lala is like,
what's wrong with that? You keep saying that like that's a bad
this
thing.
is high school, bro. It's high school. It's like, man, if you don't get this soft ass boy, if you don't stop, like that's what I'm saying. Like Lala is like she's a roundaway girl, like she's edgy. She's like really like, bro, I'm New York, like straight up, like she's all the way, like, bro, I do this, and like, you know what I'm saying. So I feel like she was looking for more, and I think she was already ready to get out, but she was like, I'm leaving here with something. So
I mean, yeah, everybody can't be Savannah. Big Virgo Queen Savannah James. Everybody can't be Savannah.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Lastly, the basketball game between Jake and Jesus. Obviously, we know that this scene, Denzel wasn't supposed to score at all. Supposed to be 0 to 11, but Denzel was not going for that. And Ray Allen was like, "Yo, what's up? Like, what's up with your man's? Like, what's going on?" But like, Spike let him keep going, and obviously, like he was gonna wash, wash Denzel because he's an NBA player. And pretty much, this is kind of the last interaction between them two.
Can we talk about one thing before this, though?
Whatever you want.
I really want to talk about Dakota and Jake.
This is the prostitute.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I get why, yeah. Um, I I'm sure we will talk about this in a later section. And it I really wanted to hate this portion of the movie
okay.
or her presence in the movie. The only thing that keeps me leaning towards, okay, maybe it was necessary is because it gives us a little bit more of a moment to sit with Jake in a and see like a softer.
Hmm.
way where he kind of like is more vulnerable, you
Yeah.
know? Like
Yeah.
we get to see some vulnerability and we get to see him doing good, changing this girl's life based on his past misfortunes, right? Again, gratuitous, but I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that this I feel like her character brought out a piece of vulnerability that we may have needed to see
Hmm.
of Jake.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's all. I just wanted to just acknowledge that portion of the movie.
No doubt. Um,
Back to the last
yeah. So
game.
I mean, they hoop. You know, obviously, you know, everything's going, and you know, Jesus gets Jacob out of here, and then shortly after, he, you know, he gives him some real sound advice, which I have in a later section, and he pretty much he sees his father get arrested, and at least I like that the idea that he got at least in a small window, he got a different idea of his father. You know, at least I think his father being in prison for so long, and then him being older and kind of stepping in the role of as a man for his sister Mary, and seeing like all the responsibilities and all the pressures of the world and all that's going on around him with his teammates, with his coach, with Big Time, with Lala, and then seeing his father and just understanding like, man, maybe he did, maybe there was more I didn't know with my dad carrying this, or my dad doing this and this and that. Like, not to say like it forgives you for what you did to my mother, forgives you how you treated me, but maybe there was more to it. And seeing him get arrested and to have to go back to prison, I think it did something. You know, it was amazing to me. Like I thought him seeing that, like just knowing, like, bro, don't worry about me no more. Like, you know, so I really like that. And of course, we get like the last of the Spike Leeism of the basketball thrown up, and you know, they kind of tie it back into Jesus, and he does decide to go to the school that his dad wanted him to sign to. So it was kind of like his last pleasing to his father after all of those years of, you know, hard training from his father. So anything you want to add to that like last sequence?
Yeah, I think that in those final moments after he beat his father, I think, and then he threw the letter of intent on the ground. And Jake is like, "Do you feel like a man now?" And the officers come back to take him in. And I think his final little piece to his son, like you said, being, worry about yourself and your sister. And I think the most poignant thing that he said, the thing that stuck with Jesus the most was you have to let go of that hatred in your heart that you have for me, or you're gonna end up just like me. And I
Mm.
think that hit him really hard because you see it in his face, like he's stuck.
He
And
understood. Like that's why you were like that to me.
what he's right. Like I am angry and I've been holding on to this hatred and it causes me to act just like that. Like,
Mm-mm-mm.
and so he did try to do right by his dad in the end and go to big state as a last ditch effort. I think he did that specifically for his father,
Hmm.
even putting in his press release, we want to send prayers to my father, like God bless him. And of course, the system did Jake dirty as we knew that they would. That's just
Hmm. Pissed me off.
those basically saying he escaped and was caught, like they didn't release him. And then the warden saying, well, technically, even though he went there, you didn't get him to sign that letter. So maybe not. And it's just like
Bull.
all of that. You want to say it's for nothing, but not really because he did get to spend time with his
That's
kids.
what I'm saying. Like that's why I think Jake just chalked it up. It's like, bro, I got to be out for a week. I got plenty more years to be up in here. So like, I got to cop some Jordans. I mean, I got to get me a little, little jazz.
Is if you want to call it
I
that.
mean, whatever you use instrument, but still, it's yeah, a win's a win. So, with that
Uh,
being with that being said, character you relate to, identify with the most,
you
maybe.
know what? This was tough because I didn't really see too much of myself in anybody.
Hmm.
Most that I could really get was Martha
Okay.
Shuttlesworth, the mom, because I could see in the little bit of time that we spent with her a little bit of my mothering style in the way that she was talking to her son and treating her son. I'm very protective of my kids, very big mama bear energy.
Mm.
Care who you are, you the daddy, nanny,
Hmm.
papa, but it comes between mommy and baby. Hey,
It's a no go. Stop playing with me.
yeah.
Uh, I got Jesus. From the aspect of just sometimes the feeling of carrying too much and feeling life's pressure squeezing on you to perform. Like, especially like as a younger man, like with my mom and dad splitting, just feeling like I needed to step in that role. Like not like I as the man, but like so to speak as the man. Like, because of these events that have hurt you, let me step in and try to ease the pain as a young man. Even though I'm ignorant, I don't know much at 18, 19, or 20, one or whatever it is. So I felt Jesus a lot when I watched this movie. Get to stepping. Character you could do without in this movie.
I had two.
Okay.
I had Booger and Dakota.
Okay. Dakota is the hooker
Yeah.
and Booger.
Booger is Hill Harper.
Okay. Why Booger?
I don't know. It just seemed like an add-on character. Like he
I can
could,
see
I
that.
mean, he had friends and teammates. I guess they just threw in like a cousin to have somebody like a closer person, but I feel like that could have been
That's true.
childhood friend. It didn't necessarily add too much to the story for me. And then obviously Dakota is self-explanatory. We almost didn't even talk about her. Uh,
Yeah. I got kind of, it's like between Dakota and the governor, even though he's an off screen character.
mm,
But I go with Dakota. Like, the thing is too, Denzel has like this clause in love interest in movies. And when you see them like get to it, you could see he's not really getting to it because of that clause of not kissing, not doing it. And that really just set it over the top. Like, okay, this is super trash to me, because if which I ain't mad for. He has he has a certain standard that he chose by doing things a certain way. And I respect that. But like in this movie, it comes off real strong and it just doesn't. Nah, like lines that deserve to be slimed.
I only have a few. Jake and Mary little interaction. What are you studying? Sales. Yeah, me too. And then I had when making a business decision, the only color that matters is green. And that's one of the coaches, I can't remember which.
Hmm.
And Jake, let me tell you something, son. When you get that hatred out your heart, or you'll end up just another nigga like your father.
Mm. I have that one as well. I have from Jesus. He says, "It's time for you to get to stepping." And I appreciate if you don't ever walk through that door again. Another quote from Jesus. That's the wrong way to start a conversation with me. Where he brought up his mother, like he ain't seen her in a minute. Start walking off. That's the wrong way to start a conversation with me. Like I felt him on that. My bad, my bad. Don't make me get violent in the morning. I haven't had my cup of coffee. You know what I'm saying? It's from Big Time, like because he was calling Pig Meat like his cousin.
Relatable, big time.
It's for real, for real. Uh, the coach, Jesus's coach, he says 10,000 Brejut. Hey, you know how much Hill figured that buys? Just because a man's bigger than you don't mean he better than you. I think that's a Jake line. I can't remember. Jesus line. All right, we gonna cut out all that lucky shit. And then the last one is what you had. You look at yourself. You look after your sister. You ain't got to worry about me no more. And then the rest that you had. Things you would change about the movie or what you feel they didn't get right.
Well, as I told you, it's not my favorite. I feel, and this is just these are all personal choices because I honestly feel like this movie was made for the basketball fans. Like this is definitely for the boys and the basketball lovers. I felt like the opening scene was too long.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like the sex scenes were like super gratuitous and not that I don't listen. I'm a red-blooded woman. I dig a good sex scene every now and then,
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
these just seemed kind of cheap to me.
Not tasteful.
Yeah, for the subject matter that we were covering, it was just like misplaced and a little bit, yeah, cheap and gratuitous. Um, I didn't necessarily think we needed the Dakota storyline. Um, I think there were a few things that we could have done to cut the time on this movie. It was a little too long.
I already talked about it, but the plot of Jake getting out because of the governor wants his son to go to the school here, that was whack. I'm sorry. I don't care if you pulled it from a real inspiration. It was whack. I just it feels so generic. Everything else feels raw and real. That part doesn't. The basketball team only has the starting five. Where's the rest of the squad? Where's the bench? We never see nobody else. They're practicing and we don't see nobody else. Continuity issue. Again, similar to you, the movie is too long, bruh. I think they need to trim this by 30 minutes. Get it down to about an hour 45, hour 50. I think we're good. I think Jake's name, I was thinking about it once we were reviewing this. His name should have been maybe John because they were going with like this kind of biblical concept, Martha, Mary, Jesus. So maybe his name being John Shuttlesworth. I never thought about it until you said
It was felt like Jacob.
okay, maybe. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Jacob. That could be. That's a good call. And then lastly, just the end. Jake did all of that for the governor, not only not to keep his word, but now y'all got him on papers, like escape. So it's just I don't know. Sometimes like Spike doesn't. I get like so he teeters between happy endings and then realism. Like with this, like okay, he does go to the college, but then on the other side, Jake doesn't. It doesn't help Jake's time. So I like it, but I'm like, pick one. Like which way you want to go with it, and so that's an issue for me. More of the story, in your opinion, maybe.
I said, don't push your kids so far that you push them away.
That's facts. Mine's similar to that. Make your dreams happen so you don't have to live vicariously through your kids. You have to be stubborn, delusional, and a dog with your dreams while you can still go after them. That we don't get a lot of story with Jake, but again, I just seen Fences, and we know in that movie Denzel character was a great baseball player, but not good enough. And we're seeing, and it's crazy correlations here. And so seeing this movie, like we don't know what his issue was with basketball, but we know he was on JV, varsity, something like that, and he never made it to the big time. And so he's putting everything into his son, trying to live vicariously through him, and it obviously affected to the point the life of his wife. So you got to go hard on it. And if you don't make it in your respected dream that you're pursuing, then make peace with it and move on and now convert that energy into your kids' dreams. So that's clearly what the issue was. And that is our episode, man. We got through it. We talked about this long ass movie.
Whew.
This was the Stoop Kids selection, and we found a way to talk about a lot of these layered themes and layered concepts. I'm sure if we did this all over again, we'll have a whole different style of review. This is that type of movie. Spike's movies are that type. If we did Crooklyn again, we would have a whole different style of review. So, but that's Spike Lee's style, and we appreciate him. With that being said, that is the end of our March Madness month. Yeah, I probably feel like how I felt about our Candy Crush month.
I do. Please get me out of here.
Okay. Yeah, we might find a different style next year and figure out something else for March. But it is on me. And when I tell y'all, our next rotation, just so y'all listeners can be aware, is Dealer's Choice. And it's our last Dealer's Choice of the year. Everything else we have themes built around. So this is going to be good for y'all as well. So y'all can send in right now whatever movie y'all want us to review at the end of April. But it is my pick. And I tell you, this was the hardest pick for me. I almost text you. I was like, yo, can somebody else go first? Because I didn't know what to do.
Nah, because it's hard. Yeah.
When you know that, and I'm like, so many big dog movies. But what I did was last minute, I was going back and forth, and I said, you know what? This movie was heavy. This movie was serious. And I wanted to get back into the funny. And I wanted to talk about somebody that ran the 90s that we love so much. And it's not a movie I hear people talk about a lot. I got to go with the 1991 film Talking Dirty After Dark, the Martin Lawrence film. Have you seen this?
I've never seen this.
Oh, this is perfect. I don't think Ash has either.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So the film is like, he's a stand-up comedian. It's got John Witherspoon. It's got Tiny Liston. It's got a lot of big dogs. And I think this is like right around the time Def Comedy Jam was doing this thing and the Martin Show was getting ready to come out. So it is hilarious of a movie. I watched this like not too long ago, maybe like within the last 5 years. So I wasn't on it back then. And I said, yo, why nobody ever talked about this? Why ain't nobody ever? So I know Mama C know about this. I know some of our OG listeners listening like, y'all don't know about Talking Dirty After Dark? So this movie is fried, but it's a good movie. I enjoyed it, and it's good. And we haven't done a Martin-led film. I didn't want to go Denzel. I didn't want to go Will because we've done Denzel movie. We've done Will with Hancock. And I was like, who haven't we done? I said, Marty Mart. We got to do Marty Mart. So that's the movie. Y'all heard it here. So y'all can go stream it now. Go check it out now. Talking Dirty After Dark, the 1991 film. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here, Mia?
No, I appreciate the March Madness, but I'm so glad it's over. Shout out to my girl, Ash.
Shout out to Ash Bash. You know what I'm saying? She didn't get to be with us, but we'll probably ask her a little question about the movie on the next episode. And I can't wait to see what y'all experience will be with this movie. This is super nostalgic. As soon as you turn it on, you're like, yo, they are fried. So with that being said, thank y'all listeners, the Stoop Kids. Truly, we appreciate y'all, man, for sending us this movie. And we discussed it and talked about it and look forward to seeing what y'all will send at the end of April. But y'all know what we doing next. Ash will be back with us next week. We got to get in. The street lights is in. We're getting close to school letting out. Can't wait for that. We'll have some good times with that. But in the meantime, in between time, peace out.